you are in Greece, you've got a beautiful hotel, you took a chance on where you landed, and this is where you've landed. I said, and you paid £99 for that. I said, you cannot go to Butlins for a week in the UK for £99.
So you had to manage their expectations, didn't you? Yeah, wow.
And just said, I'm going to leave you all
complaining.
to have a little drink at the bar, and I'll be back at 8:30 in the morning for your welcome meeting. I said, any further problems you have after your night's sleep and your lovely walk down to the beach, which is just 2 minutes, just down there, I said, you come and see me in the morning and we'll see what we'll do about it.
Welcome to the show, Sam. So pleased we finally got you in the show.
Yeah,
so Sam, tell us who you are. What do you do?
So my name's Sam. I am 43. I am a mum. I've got 2 boys, aged 13 and he's 13 on Sunday, and 8 years old. I'm a single mum at the moment. Sadly, not successfully co-parenting. And I am a bit of a known kind of entrepreneur in the local area. So when I got back from Spain in 2017, I had to find out what job I could do, really, kind of having 2 children. So
let's just quickly track back. So you lived in Spain? Did you have the boys in Spain? Or?
So I had boys in the UK.
Okay.
I used to work in the police control room.
Okay.
And my ex-husband used to run a very successful lighting company.
Okay.
But we were like passing ships in the night quite a lot. And I'd been a holiday rep in Spain years and years ago and loved.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
which
loved
part of Spain is that?
Oh, I was in Ibiza for 2 seasons.
You did that, okay? You partied. Partied hard.
Yeah, and then I was in the Costa del Sol with the over 55s in the winters.
Okay,
and then
seeing the whole the age range there.
Yeah, and then my last summer was out in Zakynthos where I was like head rep.
I like Zakynthos.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Isn't it just
it's beautiful.
That's the one with the picturesque boat.
Yes.
Shipwreck.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the lovely turtles that come out on Kalamaki Beach.
Oh wow.
So I was a holiday rep, so I'd known what life was like. And Andy's mum was living in Spain. She lived in Tenerife and then Fuerteventura.
Okay.
She spent a lot of holidays out there, and I just loved the way the life was outdoors.
Yeah.
And we just thought, you know what, you've only got one shot.
Yeah.
Let's
move to Spain.
And then the idea was that Andy would travel back for work.
Okay.
And we would keep the business going because we had staff, so they would manage the business and we would basically live in Spain and give that a shot.
And which part of Spain is this now?
So we're in Javia, which is Costa Blanca North.
Okay.
So a lot of expats in the area, a lot of entrepreneurial women, which was amazing.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah. So.
And what were you doing then? So you were mum bringing up your kids.
Yeah. So initially we went out there and I was mum, but obviously I'd come from a very, very busy life in control room where I'm used to dealing with major incidents on the radio, directing police officers to jobs and things.
And that's in Notting Hill.
Yeah, so my brain had been used to a certain level of activity working because I'm dealing with immediates over there, I'm dealing with an incident here, I'm dealing with that, there's more calls coming in. So I'd always had a busy job, so but I stepped back from my job because Andy said, look, we're passing ships, we're not spending quality time together. You work nights, then I go away for 4 days, and then I come back, then you go and work nights. And also as well, once you have children, it changes a little bit because when it comes to Christmas Day and you've got to do a night shift or a day shift.
I know that feeling.
It's
I
really
used to work
hard,
in retail. Yes.
Really, yeah. And it started to it's great if you can get the time off, but people were booking it like 15 months in advance, so like 1 minute past midnight to get, not that Christmas, but the following Christmas off. And I was like, this is crazy. So I ended up leaving the job.
So
mainly
how long
for,
had you been in the police then?
About 13 years, I think it is. Yeah, I was there, and Sebastian was 1 year old. But I just decided, right now, I'm going to stay at home. I said to Andy, if I leave, I want to do something. So I ended up doing the accounts for him and things like that. So I was still earning my money because I've grafted since I was 13. I like to earn my own. I had a paper round.
Okay.
I worked for Kirby Hoovers in a call centre when I was 16. I had 2 cleaning jobs.
Wow.
I worked in a news agents at the weekends
from
like 6 till 2. Yeah.
So hard work comes like a part of you. It's in your DNA.
Yeah, I
think. Is that because your parents?
Yeah,
or is
I think so.
What did
my
they
dad
do?
was a roofer. He had his own roofing business, and the recession in particular, when I was really young, really hit home and hit our family hard because he didn't have his own business, so the building company was laying him off, and he had to take a big contract in Birmingham. and he was working there for about 6 months, and we literally were on beans on toast
Really?
and
Do you
shopping in
remember those
charity
times?
shops. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
yeah. So, but you know, it's fine.
Yeah, you it's learning experiences.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did that. Yeah, but
yeah.
as a child, when you were doing that, did you think, right, I'm gonna help my dad, or what were thoughts going through your mind?
Yeah, so obviously, like, you know, that's where I got paper rounds and things like that.
Yeah.
He taught me massive thing, like cash is king. If you haven't got the cash, you can't have it.
Okay.
And that was instilled in me from a very early age. And you know, his work ethic, you know, was so good as well. My mum went back to, you know, she's always done cleaning jobs as well, you know, to make ends meet. So when there was a couple of decisions I made, like it was go back to school and do A levels, or go to college and do a travel course, and I was desperate to go to college and do a travel course. But it was about a couple of grand, you know. When I was that young, my dad was just like, I haven't got it, Sam, and I you know, I wasn't earning enough to be able to pay for this course at the time. You know, because obviously getting work before you're 16 is a bit difficult, isn't it? So you know, but didn't stop me from going into travel. As soon as I could get a job, I went to work for 40 hotels in Aylesbury.
Okay.
Worked in their sales centre, went all across the UK.
So you didn't. So this quite crucial point here, that although you didn't actually go and get the qualification, you went around in slightly different ways.
Yeah. I stayed at school and did A levels, but I didn't do very well.
Right.
I'm not. So when I was younger, I got put in what we call the special hut quite a lot because they couldn't quite work me out. So I had a bit of dyslexia.
Okay.
But then I passed my 12 plus. So they were like,
Amazing.
what happened there?
Yeah.
So I've always struggled kind of doing A
Academically,
levels.
you mean,
Academically, it was quite difficult. So but you know, I stayed and did my A levels, and then still got into travel. So it was fine.
Your first job was?
Yeah, working at 40 hotels in the sales reservations team. So it's just a big call centre, and people used to call in to book
holidays.
Book a holiday, book a hotel for the night.
Okay.
So because you were the sales team, you got sent all across the UK to all of the lovely hotels, because if you've got experience of them, you can sell them better.
Oh, I see.
So we went up to York, Carlisle, London.
Oh my God, how was that for you?
Oh, just amazing.
Were you like literally flying?
Yeah,
like,
I loved it. I remember being
lovely.
I was 18. I phoned my mum and I was like, "Mum, you never guess where I am." I was like, "I'm in the Waldorf Hotel in London." I said, "And guess what?" I said, "We don't have to share a bedroom." I just had this massive, great big room all to myself. It was like, so yeah, like coming from a council house, you know, really difficult.
Luxurious,
yeah, it was just like, oh my God. So yeah, had a great times at 40 hotels. It was
how long did you stay there?
I think it was about a couple of years, and then I moved to another call centre just for a bit more money and things, and then I became a holiday rep. I went on a girly holiday, my first ever holiday abroad with girlfriends, and nearly stayed out there and got a bar job because we just had the time of
where
our
is
life.
this?
So we went to Malia.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Club 1830s, you could just imagine. And as we went out every night, there was these two girls who were like props on the door, and they were like, "Oh, girls, please come in tonight.
Yeah.
You know, we've really got to like get people in spas, otherwise we're going to lose our jobs."
Oh,
and
my God, okay.
yeah, it was probably their little ploy to get people
Yeah.
in, but they got us in, and we were just having a whale of a time. And I'm a bit of a joker, so I was behind the bar and doing, you know, crazy
all kinds of
things,
stuff,
and you know, doing drinks. And everyone was doing shots, and as soon as they got us in, you see, then they got lots of boys in, then lots more girls come in, then lots more boys,
So
and it
you guys
became
were
like
the magnet.
yeah, it was like 9 of us, so we're all
How long were
very
you out there for?
just 2 weeks.
2 weeks of this. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so we had a great time, and then when it was time to come home, the guy who ran the bar went, "I want you to stay," and I was like, "No, I can't." He was like, "No, I want you to stay. Come on, just like work behind the bar. It'd be
Did
brilliant."
he like you or something? Or
I
was
don't
that-
know.
was that
I
kind
think
of hold
I think I think he just saw how good I was at getting people in the bar, and I think
and that's quite your natural entrepreneurial thing coming out there, isn't it?
yeah. And they were just like, "Come on, just stay out." But I thought my mum's going to kill me.
Yeah.
So I went home and told my mum the story, and she goes, "Yeah, you're right. I would have been on the next plane out, and I would have been taking you back home."
You made the right. You knew your mum really well.
Yeah. So I thought, what other job's going to do?
But
And obviously,
something must have happened that time.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to definitely come back here.
yeah. Well, the holiday reps, they just said to us, look, you know, it's a great job.
Mm.
You know, you get your wage, you get living accommodation, and you just get to meet loads and loads of people. If you're going to do it that way. And so I said to my mum, well, how would you feel if I was a holiday rep? She goes, I'd much prefer you be a holiday rep than just working in some random bar.
Yeah, that's it.
So she said, go for it. And so I literally got loads and loads of application forms, contacted Thompson, Thomas Cook, First Choice, all of them, and got the application forms, but I didn't fill them out for ages. And my mum was like, why haven't you filled those out? I was like, well, you know, I'm not sure. She's like, right, I'm going on holiday for 2 weeks. When I come back, I don't want to see those empty forms.
Yeah.
Please just fill them out and see what happens. So I was like, all right, Mum. And it was about the night before she come home. I was
Night
like,
before.
left it all that time. I'm very last minute.
People are like that. If you give it to, if she said to you, come back in a week, you would have done a week earlier. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so filled them out and sent them off, and then before you knew it was just like interview. And the first interview I had was with Thompson Holidays, and it went all the way to Euston. Yeah, and well, it was funny because at the end of the interview, I mean, I'm a bit of an introvert sometimes, but in other times I'm just so confident. They said, so what happens then if you don't get this job? And I said, well, I've got 6 other interviews lined up. I said, so one of them will take me, I'm sure. And they went, sorry? And I went, well, yeah, I'm at first choice on Tuesday. I'm at such and such on the following Thursday. And they were like, oh.
So right. You're serious. You're going to get one of these. Either you give it to me or I'll get another one.
And I'll go in.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great confidence you portray there. Yeah.
And I was actually on the train, just got back into Aylesbury and my phone went. And they just said, hi, it's the people who had interviewed me that day, and they said, we want to offer you space on the training course. We don't want you to go for those other interviews. We want you to, come on our journey. And we'll have paperwork sent out. And so I said to my mum, what do you think I should do? And she went, at that time, they were kind of the best of the best.
One day,
And she was like, just go for it.
Yeah.
So, I was then in their hands.
So how long were you there with them for?
About 3, so it was 3 seasons. Did 3 summer seasons, 2 winter seasons.
Okay. Yeah. Enjoyed it?
Yeah, bit crazy.
Was it?
Yeah, a bit crazy.
The hours? Or?
Yeah, a bit of everything really. Because obviously I got sent to Ibiza.
That was your first.
That was
how do you call it? Stations?
Your first area that you get sent to, and I was just completely naive. I come from like a little village in Aylesbury. We had one pub or a couple of pubs and one nightclub.
Yeah.
And I remember being on this course with all these people. There must have been about 150 reps there, and everybody was saying, oh yeah, I want to go back to here, and I want to go here, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And I was just so happy that I'd got to the end of the course.
Yeah.
It was like, so they take you on like an island tour, and I was like, I don't really want to be up north because it's really quiet.
Yeah.
Don't really want to be kind of over there because it looks like everyone's going to be going to the East Coast, all the families and things. So I thought, I'll ask for San Antonio Bay. This doesn't sound like many people are going for that. And then the town's here, so it's not too crazy, and I can sort of be here. So you had to then,
by yourself?
Yeah,
how did you feel?
21,
like
21.
But
I cried on the plane all the way to
All
the
the
way
way
to
to where?
Ibiza. There was this couple here, and they were going on holiday, and I was just sat there going, that like proper little shiver, and they were like, "You're going on." Yeah.
Did you tell them you were
Yeah, I was
and you
like,
were
"I'm going to be on holiday, I've just left my mum." Oh my God. And they were just like,
Oh.
Yeah, so and it's quite daunting because there's a lot of obviously big personalities. So you could tell who the kind of almost like a club, it was called Club Freestyle, which was their version of 1830. So you could see the group over there who were going to be the freestyle reps. You could see the year 2 reps, and I've done this before and I'm going back.
So the way they were dressed, the way they were
just
confident?
the way they were confident, the way everyone was talking.
And you felt like a tiny little fish in a big pond. You thought, oh my God, how am I going to fit in here? And all kinds of limited belief setting in and all sorts.
Yeah, loads.
But you kept going.
Yeah, kept going.
Nothing stops you.
No.
Because many people will be like, I don't know if I fit in this environment, because the minute Club 1830, there's a certain expectation from who you are, how you portray your confidence, certain way you look. I don't know what the criteria is, but you just kept going.
Yeah, I just kept going so that you had to all sit down, and then they called you over. The area manager called each person over to see who had got which area. And then the 3 positions in San Antonio Bay had gone, because obviously you see the people going, I've got the bay! And I was like, right, there's only 3 spaces, they've gone. And I'm still sat there, but then the San Antonio area manager came over and went, Sam, you want to come with me? And I was like, right, this is really great, but I'm really not sure.
Where am I going?
And I got put in a 1-star apartment block with 400 guests. And I had to then look after a 3-star hotel round the corner as well, which had up to 800 guests in peak season.
So all 800 are your responsibility?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Arriving at like different times, and you had to do all big welcome meetings. You had to look after, it was accounts and everything, so you sell excursions, you had to take money, you had to do receipts. I had one of those great big old fashioned
those machines that
you put the credit card in and go clunk clunk, and you had to carry that around in your bag with like your little court shoe high heels on in like 40 degrees. I cried for about 3 months. And then one of the girls who was
16 hours a day.
Oh yeah, really
You had a tiny little
hours.
sleep and you're up to
Yeah.
welcome more guests.
Yeah, and we had to do 2 night flights a week, because most of the flights come into Ibiza at 9.
9,
So
3:30, aren't they?
So you'd go on the bus at 12:30, do all of your pickups, go to the airport, see them off. Then you'd wait for the new flight to come through, but my flights were always delayed, so sometimes you'd get back at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you'd have to go and do a welcome meeting at 8:30.
And then when do you sleep?
Yeah, you just didn't. You'd like just grab in sleep as and when, because then you had to work, I think it was 5 nights, if not 6 nights out of 7, so you had to do like a pub crawl, all-inclusive night booze drink thing where you had to do entertainment.
So suddenly you had to become this one person who did multi-jobs
Yeah.
to make sure they were entertained. And if there was a complaint, you dealt with that.
Oh yeah.
And there will be
And
complaints.
there will be complaints,
Yes,
yeah. Because they just come on holiday and they just haven't got a clue, and obviously out there was a lot of problem with drugs, alcohol. I was experiencing things I've never ever
Never
experienced
experienced in your
before.
life when you come from a small village in Aylesbury to this a giant nightmare of all these people wanting to have a good time. So everything must be right for them,
Yeah.
isn't it?
This expectation people come with on holiday.
Yeah,
Wow.
sleeping with their doors open, then they get robbed. And then you go, well, I can't take you to the police station, because if I take you to the police station and say, well, how did they get in? You left your door open and you didn't have a safe.
Gosh.
And then they're like screaming at you, because it's like, you know.
Unbelievable.
Or they've
What
done
an
like
experience.
square deals for like £99, and then they get put in a 1-star apartment and then start
They're
having
not
a go at you. Yeah, and it's like, well, you.
What does a one star look like?
Still
basic.
It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. There was clean sheets.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
just very, very, very,
Very
basic. Yeah, very basic.
Wow. So you lasted how long there?
Yeah, I did actually finish the season, even though I didn't think I was going to.
How was your health? Did you suffer from food?
Just
lack of?
yeah, and it was the alcohol. I ended up if we do the shots, I used to have to look over my shoulder to make sure no one was behind me and chuck it over my shoulder so I didn't drink it, because there was just this massive like, you've got to drink, you've got to do this, you've got to
If
do
you're
that.
drunk, you can't be doing your job properly.
No.
can you? So they expect you to be part of it, but
Yeah.
don't get drunk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then obviously when it's your night off, you just get free tickets to all the clubs, you get free alcohol wherever you go.
Oh, because it's part of that.
Yeah.
So did you enjoy
so,
it a little
yes,
bit?
I did. Yeah, because I love dancing, so I loved like Pasha.
Yeah.
And I like to go into all the dance nights and things. When we got a night
Amazing.
off. So
I think you build a good resilience there, didn't you?
yeah.
I mean, that's almost like if you've done one of those stints of being a holiday rep with so many different jobs that you have to sort out and sell, a salesperson, a welcome person, a complaints manager, probably a friend. Some probably people cried because couples split up when they're on holiday.
Yeah, and
Oh,
we had deaths as well.
Oh my
Sometimes like people would
God.
come on holiday. We had a man who had a heart attack,
oh my God.
and we had to help her pack all like the room up, the suitcase, the clothes. Obviously he had to go back on a flight because she wanted him to be buried back in the UK. But some we have to arrange for them to be cremated, and they just go back. Depends on whether they're insured and things like that.
Oh my goodness me. So you learnt a lot basically, didn't you?
Yeah.
So why did you give up?
Just because, I kind of, I'll tell you what the final bit was. I was on my little bike in Zakynthos. So one of the other reps, my good friend Sarah, I love her to bits, she got the car because her hotels were further apart, but one of mine was miles away and up this massive hill, and I had to ride my bike there, right?
Oh my God.
So, and Jordan had dropped all the guests off, and he went to me, Sam, he goes, be prepared tonight. And I was like, why? He goes, I've just dropped them all off at and this was like a lovely, lovely Greek family, but he had probably like 2-star apartments that were in the middle of nowhere, up this hill of the back and beyond, and every single guest that got landed there was normally a square deal, so they didn't know where they were going until they got there. He said, I've dropped your guests off, and all of them are angry.
And you're going to go up this hill on this little bike.
So I'm on this little bike, I'm going up this hill,
Planning what
it's
you're
the
gonna
end
tell
of
them.
season, I'm just thinking, so I called the office and went, right, how much are these people paid? So they paid £99. So right, okay, so I'm gonna...
When you say 99, for the whole holiday?
Yes, for the flight,
And the hotel?
for their accommodation, for clean sheets on their bed and everything else, and I can't remember the guy's
Wow,
name in the
that's a deal.
apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was getting £4 if there was 4 people in his room per night, and he was getting £2 if there was 2 people in his room per night.
That's how much you were making?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me.
So, I turned up.
The Kindle was just coming up then, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It's not now, it's like one of those popular things, but then
Yeah.
it was just,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, in the summer times it wasn't so bad, but in June and October, that's all you got really was these crazy deals just to fill up the hotels really. And I hadn't even stepped through the door, and all these people are angry and they're waiting for me, and they're screaming at me, and I'm like, right. So I asked them all to sit down.
to manage these groups of all different ages.
Yeah, and by the time we said, so I'm 21, 22, so I'm only 23 still at this time.
Yeah.
So I tried to get them all to sit down. This man screaming in my face, right up against my face.
How did you calm? How did you keep
So I just said, look, please, can you all just sit down? So
did they train you in this then?
No.
You think you had this natural skill?
Yeah.
Wow, good. That's good that worked.
Yeah, and I think, you know, obviously the more people
The
that
more
you
you
deal
do that,
with,
yeah,
you know,
more
the more
confidence
times
you
you do
have,
it, the more confidence you have. And I sat down, I said, I understand everybody's not happy here. I said, and I understand everybody wants to move. However, I have called the office already and I have confirmed how much everybody's paid for their holiday. Can you just confirm how much you paid for your holiday? And everybody started going, £99, £129. I said, right, I said, guess how much it's cost to go to Butlins this week for 1 week? And they were like, sorry? And so I completely threw them. I was like, you are in Greece, you've got a beautiful hotel, you took a chance on where you landed, and this is where you've landed. I said, and you paid £99 for that. I said, you cannot go to Butlins for a week in the UK for £99.
So you had to manage their expectations, didn't you? Yeah, wow.
And just said, I'm going to leave you all
complaining.
to have a little drink at the bar, and I'll be back at 8:30 in the morning for your welcome meeting. I said, any further problems you have after your night's sleep and your lovely walk down to the beach, which is just 2 minutes, just down there, I said, you come and see me in the morning and we'll see what we'll do about it. And I was shaking inside. I got on my bike and went, see you tomorrow, and then cycled off. I was supposed to be there for an hour. I thought, I'm not staying here. I literally got on my bike, cycled down the hill as fast as I could, and just thought, oh my God. And we all used to eat dinner together in one of the hotels, and Jordan was just cracking up. He was going, you told them they can't go to Butlins for a week? I was like, yeah, because they can't go to Butlins for a week.
I think what you did was amazing. I mean, that takes courage. I am amazed at the courage that you showed throughout this time.
Yeah.
It's like somebody very experienced will do what you just did, and it was only your 4th, 5th season.
Yeah, and then I said to my boss, do you know what? I said, I don't think I can do 3 more weeks of this. And I said, it's my 3rd season. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And he said, look, if you want to go home early, you can go home early. So I decided to go home early. And my mum and dad's marriage was breaking down as well at that point. So, and I kind of knew things were going on back home. And very, 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 close to my mum and close to my dad as well. He's my stepdad, but very, very close to them. And I just didn't want to be there anymore. I just wanted to be back home. So I just thought, you know what? Thank you. Loved the experience, but you know when it's time to go.
Yeah.
And it's
Absolutely. So how old are you now, and what are you doing now in the UK?
Yeah, so yes, I would have been 23 in Skinsdos, got back. I sort of kind of went in and out of recruitment for a little while, and then got a job at Luton Airport, because obviously all my experience before was travelling. So there was a ground crew job that came up, so I thought, oh, I'd do that. So, but it was I was travelling from Aylesbury to Luton.
It's quite far, isn't it?
Yeah.
The complication of journey, isn't it? Actually,
Yes.
on miles isn't that far. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I had to do a lot of 4 till 8 shifts, and then sometimes go back.
To
Yeah.
8 at night.
No, so 4 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Then go back later on and do a
flights in
split.
then,
Yeah.
right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it just wasn't, and it wasn't great money either. So, but I did it for a little bit, really enjoyed it, and then there'd always been that little part of me that wanted to work for the police. I wanted to be a police officer from when I was young. And I, the Bucks Herald at the time, it was used to have loads and loads of jobs in the back, and there
we
was
call the Citizen here.
so very much like the Citizen. And it said there was a job for the police control room, and I thought, oh, do you know what? Let's go for the interview. So went for the interview, and they did get me to try and join up rather than going to control room. And I said, look, let me just go in there first,
and I'll
just get a feel for
yeah.
it, and then if I want to go, join up after I've been in here, then we can look at it then.
Great set of skills that you brought in from your travels that you could use in that.
Yeah.
Is the ability to manage more than one problem at a time, which
Yeah.
is exactly what control room would be throwing you at you.
Yeah,
And
and
having-
remaining calm in a situation.
Yeah, all of those skills are so
Yeah.
listening and So you then started then. How long were you in there for?
So I started that in the October of 2000, and stayed there till 2012. So that's 12
And where
years.
did you meet your husband?
So whilst I was at control room, didn't really get to go out that much. I hadn't really settled down in life. I'd had the odd relationship here and there, but not really settled down. And then went on a night out, and it was one of my friends' friends. We just met on a night out. Apparently been trying to talk to me for about a year, but I'm a bit of a when I go out and I'm with my friends, I just like to go out and be with my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like to go out. And I think because when my mum and dad split up as well, they were still together at that time. I don't know, I think it does impact you a
Yeah,
little bit on
it
how
does,
you
yeah.
have relationships
Depending
and
what
things.
age you're at and what
Yeah.
your own, 100%. It
Yeah.
makes you a bit wary. You're like, what should I do? Why should I do that? Because it ends up like this.
Yeah,
So in your head, at that age, things need to make sense, otherwise not doing it.
yeah,
Especially because you're quite focused on your career constantly.
Yeah.
You know, one after the next, you were like, right, this one next, this one. And I think you would have seen your marriage probably in a similar way. You're like, well, do I want to? Oh, I don't know, because
Yeah.
this was just happened to mum and dad. I don't want. So you'll start to step back from there rather than throwing yourself in like you had been in your jobs.
yeah, that's
But
it.
did you still get together and you got married?
So we were together for a good 7-8 years before we got married. So we'd had my first child, Harvey, and then we got married when he was about 3.
Okay.
So, and then 2 years later had Seb. So yeah.
And then you stayed together for 10, same.
We split in trial separation 2015, and then I started the divorce proceedings in June 2016,
Okay.
and that was had moved to Spain.
Mhm.
Our relationship was rocky before we went,
Mhm.
and we thought by going there and having more quality time together and not working so much, it would make the marriage better. But actually, it just made it even more apparent what the difficulties were.
And that's what, did you say that was in Spain you found?
Yeah,
Is that because you think you had more time?
yeah, 100%.
Because when you're working, there's no time to actually analyse what's going
Yeah.
on. Because you two working on the house, it's almost
Yeah.
like getting your ship moving.
Yeah, I
The
had
minute you
loads
had
of
that.
friends in the UK.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot for charity.
Okay.
I just recently done the big onesie world record attempt for the Henry Allen Trust.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I fully sort of managed that. I lost my nephew in 2004 and went on to raise £22,500 for Stoke Mandeville Hospital. So I was always doing it. I have to keep my brain active, otherwise.
Yeah, I can see there's a whole like a pattern coming across from very young age. You've been doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost like you don't know any different. So when you weren't working in Spain, how did you?
Yeah. I just started getting quite depressed,
Yeah.
if I'm completely honest. The boys went into Spanish school, and out there they're in school from 8:30 in the morning till 4:30.
Okay.
They have a lot longer holidays, like the summer holidays are 13 weeks, which was crazy. And one of the reasons why I come back to the UK. But I kind of got out there, the boys settled in school, and then I was just literally
You dropped into school and then you're like, what do
Yeah,
you know what to do?
and
with this?
Andy was going back to the UK for work, so I was there on
And
my own.
there's no in-laws weren't there then?
No,
were they?
no
They're in
family.
a different part of Spain, or different.
Yeah,
Completely different.
yeah. I think
island,
both our
think.
parents were both back in England then.
Okay.
All of our parents back in England.
How did you start making friends there then?
So luckily, as I say, there's a
You
big
said there was a lot of entrepreneurial women.
lots
Yeah.
of big expat community. We had an absolute nightmare when we moved there because the first place we rented should never have been rented to anybody. We
so
had-
those laws, Spanish laws.
Yeah,
Oh,
we had raw sewage coming through our
okay.
house
Oh my goodness me.
in June, and we found out that the septic tank wasn't big enough to have 4 people living in a house using toilets and things like that. So yeah, we had to spend money getting it all fixed. And yeah, we just literally had nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. And again, because I'm used to, I was still got my mum to mum group. So when I had
Oh, did
Harvey,
you? Okay.
yeah, when I had Harvey, I didn't know anybody in Milton Keynes, and I was meeting various different mums.
What, like clubs or?
Yeah,
the mums-
Aquanatal and loads
In
of different
Spain?
places. No, so
No,
this
in
is
England.
pre-Spain in England. And I'd set up this Facebook group, and it just had 20 of my mum friends in that I'd made. Because before then, before WhatsApp, you had to send 20 different text messages.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know that.
So it's like, do you want to go to the park this
Painful.
afternoon?
Yeah.
And you're like sending it to like 20
Yeah.
people. And then when Facebook came out, I noticed they had a group function. So I was like, right, well, if I just put all my friends into that group, we can then talk in the group. Because you could used to be able to
Yeah.
send one message and everything else. So, I'd used to been making friends really online in the UK. So when I got to Spain, I was like, well, let's
Do
go
the same
out
here,
and do
yeah.
the same. And it is very quickly you make friends
Yeah.
because
You're open to it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
and everyone's in the same situation. So there's a lot. I like to say, there's loads and loads of expats out there, and yeah, before you know it, the children have made friends, and then you make friends with the parents, and yeah, it
So
was
you were
lovely.
involved in a community with lots of women, and at this stage you hadn't still opened anything of your own.
No, I just kind of was just finding my feet, just making sure the boys were happy in school. But then once they'd been dropped off at school and I kind of had been for a walk, I'd had a coffee,
It's like what you do
I was
next.
just like, right, what do you do
Yeah.
now? And it was like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored.
Yeah.
And I, you know, explained that to Andy, and he was like, well, you know, just enjoy it, just relax. And I was like, I can't relax. So, yeah, I just started looking at, oh, they haven't got that here. Oh, they haven't got that here. Like, there wasn't a play group.
Gaps in the market.
Yeah, there wasn't a play group. Yeah, there was always
That's an
mums with
entrepreneurial brain, isn't
yeah.
it? It's like, if that's not available, I will make one.
Yeah. So started off with a little play group.
Okay.
Set up Mum to Mum Havia. So
Wow.
and that's still going now.
Oh my goodness.
Even though we've got like Mum to Mum Milk Kings,
Yeah.
we've still got Mum to Mum Havia, and all the new mums who move into the area still join that group.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and you know, it was funny. The first few weeks, no one turned up.
Okay.
You
This
know.
is really crucial, actually. So I really want to home into that, only because when you start something, you don't know. The idea is as good as what other people think, not what you think, isn't it? You
Yeah.
might think there's a gap, but actually, is it really? So you've done this. So you set up. So what did that group look like? What was it?
So
Your
I went.
house?
So I went to IKEA.
Yeah.
And I got all the start-up equipment for a little play group, little paints and paper and everything else. I had like little stations of different things. I did it with another lady actually who recently moved out. She was like, oh yeah, I love this idea. Yeah, let's set it up. You know, just do it like not for profit really, because you have to hire the hall for like €10 an hour. So we did that, and yeah, just put it out on Facebook. Look, you know, we're starting this up on a Friday afternoon for 2 hours. You know, come along and join us. And like I say, yeah, I think that the first couple of weeks, like one mum turned up or two mums turned up, but then literally it wasn't long, and we had sort of like 10 to 15 mums turning up, and everybody was just loving it.
How long did it take from 2 months to 15?
Not long actually. Probably after about 6 weeks, we were rolling and established, and you know, we just charged €5 for like 2 hours. That covered our hall costs, and then it
Cup of
covered
tea
any
or something,
cup of tea.
Little fruit
And,
for kids or something.
Yeah.
So
little snack.
did you lose heart when people weren't showing up?
A little bit, yeah.
Or do
I
you
was
think
like,
you might have given up?
no, 'cause I'm terrified.
You're
If I
not.
start something, I
Yeah.
will keep going until, and I will fix it. I'll look at it and go, right, it hasn't worked that way. Can we try it another way? And I'll try it another way, see if it works. And if it doesn't work that way, I'll try it another way.
Did you try different things with it? Or
No, so that kind of took off. But what I found was then a lot of the mums are coming to me going, oh God, you know, we're trying to find a rental, can't find a rental. We don't want to go with the agent we had before because, you know, the rips off. And I was like, well, I know that because we've just ended up in a house where we've had to spend £2,000 on it. I said, you know, what basically ended up happening was, so it went from the play group to my next business idea, which was called Relocating To. Because what had happened was, like in the UK, I'd started working with businesses and said you can advertise in my Facebook group. Because when I left for Spain, it got up to about 5,000 in 2014,
Wow.
which is pretty much unheard
Yes.
of because people have only just really started
Yes,
kind of
yeah.
using groups. And we found out businesses wanted to start advertising to the members, and I said, well, I didn't want it to be just a group of a group, and it was just full of adverts. So I said, if you make a charity donation, you can post once a month into the group.
So you
And-
put some kind of conditions in place. Yeah.
yeah, and that was going nicely, and I had a blog that ran alongside it.
You wrote that.
Yeah. So I was doing. So when I say I was bored, I had already started kind of a little blog that went alongside Mum to Mum. So I was doing that out in Spain.
What were you writing about?
Just a lot of the same questions were being asked in the group about where to take baby, where's the warmest swimming pool.
So basically, you were becoming the person to go to if you had relocated.
Yeah.
Go to Sam. She'll help you in some way. If she
Yeah.
doesn't, she will know someone.
Yes.
So you become that person who will help out.
Yeah.
In whatever you're looking for.
Yeah, and that's it.
Wow.
And then my business basically, so I charged the rental company to pay for advertising each month, the sales company advertising rather than take commissions.
Yeah.
I'd worked out I had a insurance company that used to pay me a retainer each month, and
Fantastic.
everyone that I spoke to went to use that insurance
Because
company.
you provided them with a client.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I knew that they were going to get 5-star service if they went to that person. I knew they weren't going to have the experiences I had, and
Yeah.
they would get looked after.
Because you vetted them almost.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
build some good relation with these people.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so and that ended up being like £1,000 a month I was earning from all the different agencies.
Without doing anything.
Yeah.
Just by actually building a rapport. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, and we had the play group, and then I started doing lots of charity work. We found out that there was in Spain there was a lot of children who end up in children's homes just because of life circumstances, but they weren't funded very well by the government.
Right.
And then after 18 as well, they were just put back out into society basically, and
Wow.
they weren't really equipped for it. So there was a few places where the charities used to raise loads of money through the year to make sure they had clothes, shoes, toothbrush, toiletries, everything. So I started working with them and doing charity stuff, which was brilliant. Loved that.
Awesome.
And then kind of the biggest thing I did out there then, so I've got playgroup running
Yeah.
nicely.
You attended.
got-
You attended every single. And
Yeah,
your friend.
yeah,
You made good
she,
friends with her.
yeah,
She attended
yeah,
it all,
she
yeah.
did it
And
as
you took your
well.
child along as well, I take it?
Yeah, sometimes study came, but because in Spain they go to school from 3, so from 3 to 6 they're in like primary,
Oh, okay.
preschool, full time, and yeah, from 6 they go into the main.
So yours were
primary
in school, really.
So they were in
the
school.
baby groups, mums with young babies came.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, so that was really, really nice. And yeah, so I had playgroup, I had Relocating 2 going on, had a launch party for Relocating 2, that was going really well. So basically, we was getting people from the UK before they came out,
Mhm.
and they'll do a pre-relocation holiday.
Oh wow.
So
that's a great
meet
idea.
them, do everything, and then they would go off, go back to the UK. But then when they come back, they knew that their accommodation had been sorted, everything had been done, so nobody else would have an experience like I did. And then I'd kind of worked out property was great because you actually got 5% commission
If you
of the
sold.
property if you sold.
Okay.
So what I had just started doing, but I didn't get a chance to develop it enough, was working with a great Spanish agent, and he said, you know, if you sell any of my properties, you'll get 2.5%. Well, that was quite good.
Amazing.
So yeah, so I've kind of just put all these things in place, but then I realised my marriage had broken down.
So while you were really busy doing this,
Yeah.
do you think you maybe a little bit in denial? You thought if I get busy, I don't have to look at that. Maybe was that a little bit going
I
on?
think
Or do you think you worked towards the marriage, or it just did it just
Well,
crumble?
we kind of got out there, and his life continued back in the UK.
So
and
still
then-
separate life.
Yeah,
Even though you
even though we
moved
both
there
moved there.
for a
And
different
then
reason.
when he came back, there's no last orders at the bar in Spain, and so his party life
Oh, I see. So he came
continued
back
in Spain. So it was like he was on holiday when he was back for a week.
Yeah, because he's trying to relax and
Yeah.
he thinks,
Still in the office at 8 o'clock at night, not putting the kids to bed, not having any
so
quality
no
time
part
with
of
us,
anything, right?
and we were just two different people.
Wow.
He's like very much like me. We're both workaholics, but I don't think how is it fair for one person to be allowed to be the workaholic and the other one have to be a housewife? I was told your job is to be a housewife,
By him?
Yeah.
Wow.
and that was another moment where I remember being stood in the kitchen and he said, "Why can't you just be happy? You were supposed to come here and be a housewife."
Wow. How did you take that?
I've worked since I was 13 years old. You know,
You don't.
I
you
don't-
don't
I love
wanna
my
just be-
kids.
Yeah, but you don't.
I love
you're
my
you're
kids,
not
but I don't
only
just
a
want to be a
housewife. Yeah.
housewife.
There's nothing wrong with being a housewife, but
Yeah.
you were choosing to do that.
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been quite hard to take on board.
Yeah,
So it almost feels like he didn't know you.
yeah.
Didn't know what you really wanted, or doesn't know what your goals were, because clearly you have this entrepreneurial mind that's constantly looking at gaps in the market
Mm.
and producing a business one after the next. So if there's a need, there's a gap, you've got come up with something.
And
And that's
as
an
well, I was
amazing-
saying, if I can earn more money,
Yeah.
you don't have to work so
Yeah.
hard, then you can spend more time with us. But he didn't see it like that. He was like, no,
No.
I'll earn all the money, you just be
stay
a
home.
housewife.
Right. So clashed in terms of your outlook on life,
Mm.
isn't it?
You know, we had 2 jet skis on the drive, 30 grand. I didn't want a jet ski on the drive at 30 grand, so again, we had differences with money. I was very much, as a kid, you know, cash is king,
Yeah, saving, yes.
saving.
Only using what you need.
Yeah, and then the next minute, we've not even sold 1 jet ski, we've got 2 jet skis on the drive. You know, we've got top of the range cars, we've got a 500 grand house back in the UK, we've got all these things, and all of a sudden I'm just in this life where I just didn't feel comfortable in my skin. And yes, it was, you know, wonderful, and he provided for us, and, you know, great husband sometimes, other
Yeah.
times not so great. And yeah, but it was I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice in buying that house that we had in Milton Keynes. He decided to buy it one day and told me we were moving there.
Oh my god.
And it was 2 months before our wedding. So I'm trying to plan a wedding that I've had to plan all myself. Then he tells me we're moving, and then literally I have to move house, pack up a whole house, and try and get married. And then he had to go at me when I was trying on my hen night outfit, pre-moving for like 5 minutes with my mum, because I had my like a big hen. I can't even remember now.
I bet you had.
I had the biggest hen
Had
do
you ever?
in
Yeah.
Bistro Live.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I
I had
know
like
what
56
Standing on the
women.
tables.
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Love
I
it.
was she-ra in my white outfit. Loved it. They were like, "This is the biggest one," because I'm obviously like, you know,
You've
I've
built up
got
such a
loads
network of
yeah, I've
people,
got
haven't
lovely
you?
friends,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, still in the police control room at this time, and you know, yeah, just really, really lovely. So yeah, just going back to Spain, you know, yes, I was out there, but I just started almost getting more and more depressed, because it was like, you know, I'm in my 30s, because I was still in my 30s at that time. What am I doing? I've given up my career.
Mm.
I've given up, you know, the things to look after the children for the children, for the business. We thought this was going to be a better quality of life, and actually it isn't a better quality of life, because actually I'm here on my own for 50% of the month, and then you come back 50%, but then we're still not together.
Yeah. Do you think you kind of fell out of love, or is there a moment in time that love that people first have, because of the differences, it automatically kind of goes away? That, you know, takes a back seat almost.
I think, yeah,
I think
there was a
say
little
a certain amount, can't it?
Yeah, and I think my second child, it was quite clear when I had my second child that he was a little bit different.
Okay.
So he lined all his cars up, white cars, red cars, blue cars. Couldn't touch that row of cars because he didn't like to go on the beach without his socks on. Lots of sensory issues, lots of controlling issues, very, very violent, angry outbursts, not your normal terrible twos. A lot more was going on with Sebastian, and we parented very, very differently. So that was one issue. I think it was an accumulation of lots of issues. So having the children, completely different parenting styles. He basically wanted to go to every single boxing match. He was following Ricky Hatton and all the boxing matches. So he'd go back to the UK for work, but then he'd go and have a jolly for the weekend. Then he'd tag on work again. So
it's basically he lived his own life.
He lived his own life.
And the kids, well, he had kids, but
yeah,
they weren't. You can have kids, but then you can parent them.
Yeah.
So you didn't parent them; you just had them.
Yeah.
Biologically. Yeah.
And I won't go into too much about that because I feel like perhaps I maybe put too much pressure on him. Maybe, you know, but I wanted children. I made it quite clear that I did want children. You know, so we had the children, very different parenting styles. And when we set up our lighting company, I just had Harvey. He was literally months old.
Yeah.
And at the time, he only got 6 weeks off work.
Yeah.
6 months off work, and he was 18 days overdue. So I finished work at like 37, 38 weeks because I could not walk up 3 flights of stairs anymore.
I could tell. If somebody asked me, did Sam walk all the way to the end? Probably.
Yeah.
Until she had the baby, she was walking.
I had all my legs kept swelling up, so I was on like the police radio with one foot, with one leg up here, you know, and it was just like, everyone was like, Sam, I think you really need to like go off for maternity now. And I was like, yeah, but you only get 6 months, so I've got to go all the way to the end, so I can have
you've
that
really
first 6
calculated
months. Yeah. But then he was nearly 3 weeks overdue. By the time I got out of the hospital,
I bet that you were not impressed because that was not in your control, was
No.
it? Because the things are not in your control, that kind of stuff.
No. No, and I was the first one to have a baby after we lost Mason as well. So my mum was very, very worried, you know. And then she was like, "Just keep going to the doctors, make sure baby's, you know, the heartbeat, make sure you do." You know, it was like, "Mum, you know, it's going to be okay." I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl. I said, "It's going to be fine."
Yeah. It's
going to be fine.
Your nephew that you touched on earlier.
Yeah. So it was a lot of pressure around that. But yeah, so going back to Spain, I think it's just an accumulation of things. And then obviously when we set up the lighting company, I just had the baby, and I'd said to him he wasn't happy in his job. He then took another job, and literally on day 3 just phoned me and went, "Oh my God, you know, I've been sold a pup. This job's rubbish. The company car's rubbish. I don't want to do this." And I said, "Look, Andy, you've wanted to have your own business. Now is the time to have your own business. I'm going back, and I'm pretty much full time, but I'm just doing nights. So you can work during the day. You can have Harvey in the night when I go to work." I said, "And between us, we'll do it." I said, "If we have to downsize," we were very lucky. I bought my own property when I was 25. He bought his own property when he was, you know, in his 20s. So we'd made a lot of money.
Good start, yeah.
So we had good equity in the house. So why don't we phone the bank and see if we could take a 6-month mortgage break? I said, "And let's start your business." He was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Just go for it. What can go wrong?" I said, "If it don't work, then we'll look at it. We'll reassess it." Well, of course, he was very, very well known in his industry. He was working with TK Maxx, Cotswold Outdoor Clothing, lots and lots of big names. And he was fantastic at his job, amazing at his job. So, of course, you know, we took a big loan. I didn't worry about it. It was like, come on. And after a year, booming. Our first year, he had to pay £27,500 in corporation tax.
Wow.
So that's how successful his business was in year 1. You know, so, you know, and I'm glad I did it, but I'm the one who literally worked night shifts. I worked night shifts. I had Harvey all day. I had to go out every single day to play centres, even though I was so tired. So I wasn't in the house, so Harvey wasn't making noise, so he could make his phone calls for work. I supported him
to the nth degree, didn't you? Yeah.
So then when I was in Spain and I was having some business ideas, I wanted that support back. And I didn't think that was unacceptable to want that support back. And again, everything I was doing two hours a week at a playgroup. I was selling Usborne books. That was another thing I did.
What were you selling?
Usborne books.
Oh, yeah,
you know the
Usborne
books.
book,
Yeah. So I was selling them. I set up Relocating too. I then started doing discos as well because I work a lot with Karina, the Cool Kids parties, with all the mascots and everything. And again, we didn't have any family discos or anything like that in Spain.
So, you set those up.
So I set those up, and I had Spanish families, Italian families, German families all come in, and I literally sent mascots over there. So we had all these different mascots, you name it. And I had my little cash tin, we did everything. So my boys as well saw me being an entrepreneur and saw me with my kids. And one funny thing, we had a football presentation night. And I'd taken some lollipops for the boys for Harvey to give out to all his friends at the end of the night. And he'd had one slush puppy, and he came back to me for a second slush puppy. And I was like, Harvey, mate, no, you're not having another slush puppy. I said, €4 a pop. Yeah. I said, and all those, and they were like, yeah. I was like, everything else that's in them, you're going to go a bit crazy. Anyway, about an hour later, one of the mums comes in. She goes, your son's a chip off the old block, isn't he? And I said, sorry? She's like, your son's a chip off the old block. So he's out there selling lollipops for €1.
Oh my goodness.
Comes in with this slush puppy and then goes, oh, all right, Mum. I was like, where did you get that from? And he's like, yeah. He goes, well, I've just earned €12 in lollipops. So I've bought my...
I love this story. This is awesome.
He goes, I've bought my own slush puppy. There's your change, and there's the lollipops that left over. He was like, I'm good, aren't I? And he's going, yeah, look, I made €8 profit. I was like, well, you didn't make €8 profit. I said, because the lollipops cost €3. I said, so you lost. I said, you earned €5 profit. You spent 4.
And how old is he this time?
Literally 9 or 10.
That's amazing.
And it's like,
how did you feel?
Oh, it was brilliant. We were all just laughing.
Somebody might come home and say, oh, I got this many out of 50. But for you, born entrepreneur from age 13, my son is doing that without you actually saying a single word to him. He thought about it himself.
Yeah. He wanted something, and so he did something to be able to get it.
Yeah. And it's coming from your dad, isn't it? It's almost generation and passed down. Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. Saw his dad have his own business. My dad have his own business. All of us have our own business.
Yeah, this is it, exactly.
And it was just wonderful. It was just so funny, and it was just like, oh yeah, he's learning.
Wow. Amazing. So now the business is all set up. Lots of things are happening in Spain. You feel happier because you're busy, because you're doing what you're doing, and so your husband's travelling backwards and forwards. And what happens next? Why do you leave Spain?
So the marriage broke down. He said he wanted to stay out there and wanted the children to grow up there. Okay. But then he just made a decision to go back to the UK and didn't actually tell me he was going back to the UK.
Okay.
So, and then when my eldest found out he was back in the UK, he said, well, what are we doing here? Yeah. And I said, well, I've set up the business, and we can stay out here. Yeah. Because I've set up the business, and when we can look after you, and he was like, I want to go home. So I want to come back in March 2017, and I want to be able to come back and own a house. I said it's a good time to come back so I can get the boys back into school. Easter
before
holidays.
The GCSEs and everything,
we can get them back in school, settle, and everything else. Well, I came back in March 2017. I didn't get my house back until the end of May 2017.
So legal proceedings and everything.
Yeah, in the end,
Is that because of your ex?
Because apparently both of us had to agree or give the tenants notice, and he wouldn't give the tenants notice. Only I was given the tenants notice.
Why would he do that? Make it hard for you.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So where did you go then?
So luckily I've got an amazing friend. Yeah. Amazing friend who said to me, Sam, you need to come back. I'm worried about you. You come and stay with us for as long as you need to. And basically me and the 2 boys stayed in one of her rooms for those 2 months practically. And I'm not good at reaching out. I'm just not good at reaching out.
Are you quite a proud person?
Yeah.
You rather suffer than ask for help. Yeah,
and obviously the business devastated, because so basically another part I haven't told is so I took on a derelict building. I thought, no, I want my own. I want my own premise where I can do my play groups out of it. I can do my parties out of it. Do my discos out of it. I can do my relocation. Everything. Did my business plan, and it was great. It was all so, and I literally said, can I have some money out of one of our properties that we had back in the UK to support this venture? Yeah. So I had 25,000 out of that, and then I also had to take a £15,000 loan to be able to help me to carry on for that first year. bought in all bounce castles from the UK, wooden play frames from the UK.
You drove
Yeah,
over
a company bought them over,
Right.
and I did up this whole derelict building. The locals used to call me the crazy English lady. This building had been left derelict for like 8 years. It was a school. They hadn't done the proper legal paperwork for it to be a school, so they got denounced and the police.
Had to come out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made sure I've got all the licences in place for everything that was supposed to be.
It's quite hard in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting anything in Spain, houses,
Yeah.
delays, maniana, isn't it? They call it the next.
Yes,
Come back.
Manana,
Come back. Come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I did it. Got everything all in place, and it was €1,500 a month rent as well. So it was quite big. I mean, it was a massive school that I took
You
on.
did it up and you had to pay rent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's hard. Okay.
Yes, and the roof fell down after about 6 months because nobody had been in it, and
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
all sorts happened. But yeah,
And you still kept going because it shows
yeah,
such resilience in these times. Yeah.
and and it was good.
You
It
left
was.
all of that.
I had to shut the doors and I had to just go. I had to sell everything in it.
Oh my goodness me. So the minute your son said he wants to go back, you made.
Yeah, so I tried to sell it, and basically 3 people wanted to buy it, but they wanted me to stay and manage it. And I said I can't.
That's the whole point of going, wasn't it?
Yeah, I said I just can't. And then luckily, because I'd signed a 5-year lease,
Okay.
so in theory they could have still demanded
Yeah.
$1,500 a month off me. I still obviously had that £15,000 loan that I'm still paying now
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for Spain. But luckily a school came in, a forest school that were out about half an hour away. They'd seen what I'd been doing with the projects and everything else, and they were looking for a new venue. And because I've got all the licences in place for everything, they said, look, we can't buy it off you, but what we will do is we will continue the lease and we'll
Yeah.
change it into a school. So it got me out.
Ah,
It
wow.
also as well my guilt of sort of Andreas and his family, because he'd been bought this 8 years ago,
Yeah.
literally been paying for it and not got anything for
Yeah.
it, just finally gets it rented out, and I'm in there 8 months, and then I go,
I've got to go.
I've got to go.
Things change so dramatically when you're a parent.
Mm.
Because you would have continued to do this, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because it was all just you're building up from zero to wherever you have taken it to.
Yeah.
Bit of charity stuff, bit of your whatever you felt you wanted to, as a human, what you wanted to project out there, business, trying to make money. But as soon as your child is there and they are not happy, people take dramatic actions. And as a parent,
Yeah.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
So you came home just with suitcases and
Yeah.
and the boys.
And the boys.
Yeah. And how did they feel when they came back?
So a little bit different, because obviously Spanish life's great. You're outdoors all the time, and school's very different. You learn through play, and it's not very rigid like we are here. But
How
we
old
got
were they
back.
when they got back.
So 2017. So not very good with. So I was coming up 13. So yeah, he was 10.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, and Sebi 6.
Okay.
Yeah, 5, 6.
Both primary schools then.
Yeah, so both in primary
So
school.
you came back and went straight to apply
Yeah,
for schools?
luckily because we lived on Broughton, they've got the two new schools, so we went straight into Countess Ray. No, Oak Grove's just a bit further down the road. So you've got Brooklands.
Okay.
So yeah, but
So you went
the
in
schools there.
and
So yeah,
they took
and the
them-
kind of we've got a
Yeah.
place straight away because we lived there.
Yeah.
So
So,
and then
so now you have no business because
Nope.
you sold it,
no,
and the marriage is dissolved.
yeah,
You
marriage.
separated?
So we started divorce proceedings.
Okay.
And I was $8 grand into divorce, even though really, if I'd have had the proper advice from the beginning, I wasn't earning any money.
So you didn't have to pay.
No,
She didn't have to pay
But they
anything.
saw that I owned 50% of the business of the lighting company, and we had a £500,000 house.
Yeah. So they took.
So
that into
they took
consideration,
that and was
yeah.
like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll help you, but it came out of my profit in
Yeah,
the end from
yeah,
the
yeah.
house.
Wow.
But yeah, so I just got back. So I've got them 2 into school, but obviously then back here it's sort of 14-week school holidays. Then you can't just take a job on because you've got to.
Who's going to look after them?
Who's
They're
going to
still
look
little,
after
aren't
them?
they?
Yeah, who's going to look after them in the school holidays? Who's going to look after them after school? How does this all work?
Where's any contact from Dad at this stage? Is he seeing them every other week? Is there arrangement in place, or is he not interested?
It's just very broken down and very difficult. And we tried to co-parent. Initially, he said he wanted them a week on, week off. Well,
Okay.
I've never been away from my babies for one night, let alone
How
1
many-
week.
That's hard.
Yeah, and that's what he did to me the first 6 weeks. But then he had to go back to the UK for a good month. And
he
then it was
couldn't
like, well, that's
Let's give it back to you.
yes. And then went back to the UK and said, oh, I'll come out every 6 weeks. no. So yeah, so it hadn't been done properly, and I think that is one of the main problems, is because we were living in Spain. It just didn't really kind of go right. And as I say, you know, Sebastian's autistic traits had started to come through.
Okay, so more prominent then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were both struggling as well. You know, they wanted mummy and daddy to stay together.
I was going to ask you that. So what's the impact on the boys
Yeah,
then?
they didn't realise, because I obviously hid everything from the children.
Yeah.
They didn't know the tough times that were going on.
Yeah. So you made everything
And still
look right.
don't, you
Yeah.
know, because I still don't talk about that. You know, they know that things are difficult,
Yeah.
because every time they go ask for something now, and I say, sorry mum, we can't afford it. They've never heard that before. But when we got back to England, it was like, you know, it's back to those cash is king days, you know.
Did you sit down with them at any stage and say, well, this is what it is
Yeah,
now?
we sat down at the dining table in Spain and explained the situation. But
Both of you together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was made to look like,
Mummy has taken the decision by any
Yeah.
chance. Yeah. Painful, that is so painful. You remember those days?
and I spent a lot of time crying in the shower, but when I was in front of my children, I obviously tried to hold it all together.
But then in the shower you can drown your
Yeah.
voice. Oh my god.
But then he didn't. So again, it looked like my mummy was a bad ogre,
Yeah.
because mummy's doing this.
And did the kids think that? At some
I think
stage you
so.
start thinking that actually it is mum's fault, or
Yeah, I think so.
and that's
I think
hard,
so.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Hard, so hard, because you're trying to prove yourself, but when you shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Because actually everything you do is for them.
And I tried. You know, I asked for trial separation in 2015. I said, I'm not happy with the way this is. You know, could you change this? Could you change this? Could you change this? Is there any way you can do this differently? But a year later, he couldn't change, and he wouldn't change, and my feelings weren't in the equation. I gave him a whole year, and then when I was setting up Club Casa, it was just anger. He was just angry that why are you doing that? That's stupid.
So no support for your
No.
ideas whatsoever.
Even though I had my business plan in black and white, and it was a really good business plan, and I'd already been doing the parties, the discos, the
and
events.
in a way you'd proved who you were. You had these entrepreneurial skills, but he couldn't see those.
No, and I was.
Do you think that sometimes man and woman, there's a jealousy between a man can't quite see the woman being
Lots of people have
successful?
said that to me, but
From our point, so from female point of view, you know,
Yeah.
that's what I see. What do you? do you think
and
that might-
I, you know, obviously I see it, but it really, really upsets me that people are jealous. You know, the iceberg image is so powerful for me, because everyone knows that. You know, they only see this glory bit at the top.
Yeah,
You know, and it's
underneath all sorts
it's
of
taken me
happens.
3 years to say I lost 60 grand in a year, and then people are going, oh my gosh, really? Oh, we just thought you were this. You know, because they see the big house, they see the car, they see this, they see that, they see your life. You know, social media is great. You know, I've grown an amazing business through social media, but the image it portrays across of life, it's completely different.
It's not real, is it?
No.
No, absolutely.
No, and you know, I'm so giving, and so I want everyone to succeed, and I think that's why I'm doing, you know, so well in business now, is because I do really, really help small businesses.
Transparency and
yeah.
open heart.
Yeah.
It's a winner, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's an absolute winner. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hide. You're like, this is what happened to me, but I know I can help you with this.
Yeah.
Because what's happened to you, you can use that as a gift to then help other people, which is
Yeah.
exactly what you're doing. You continue to do that, but you can now look back. Actually, you've been helping with whatever happened to you. You use that. I don't want this to happen to you. So here's a package I put together.
Yeah.
You're moving here. Let me help you. So you use your bad experiences and turn them into a gift for other people.
Yeah.
And that's why people continue to attract you like a magnet almost.
Yeah, and like this,
Amazing.
almost like this, just inner entrepreneur. It just came out, and I just felt happy again. I just felt happy again because I was in control of it. I could decide when I worked, and I worked when the children were in school.
Yeah.
So it didn't have an impact on
No.
me being a housewife.
Yeah.
The dinner was still cooked, the clothes were still clean, the house was still tidy.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And why
Surely
should
I'm
you do it all anyway?
Yeah,
It's partnership.
yeah. Surely I'm allowed to do something else
Yeah,
apart from just do that. And if I'm not, then we are on completely separate pages, and you need to find yourself a new wife, you know, who wants that life, because I
100%.
don't.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I'm not. My mum stayed in the marriage after something happened right the way till the end, but
That's not you.
no, and she stayed for the sake of the children. But it didn't make the children's life any better for her staying.
No.
If anything, it made it worse because we all knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And we all saw the
Exactly.
arguments and everything else, or her unhappy all the time,
totally
her weight
agree.
yo-yo all the time, the tears, you know.
Wow.
And-
That affects your mental health.
Yeah.
Huge. How did all of this is going on, how do you keep yourself sane throughout all of this? What was your routine, like your food? What
I've
did you
never
eat?
been
What did
great.
you exercise?
Yeah,
What did you do?
so in Spain was great because, like I say, I used to go on the long walks,
Yeah.
and there was a couple of other mums. We used to drop the kids off, then we used to start at the Arenelle, and we used to just walk for
Yeah.
miles, and then come back and then
Yeah.
have a cup of coffee, and then go off and carry on what we were doing. But yeah, I've never been great with food really, and I am definitely an emotional eater. So you can tell what kind of mental health I'm in, because I'll either be a size 16 or I'll be a size 12.
Wow.
I've always been like that. I've always been like that. And I, obviously I really, really try. I found it quite difficult now I'm in my 40s,
Yeah.
and building the business,
Yeah.
and
So you said you struggle with looking after yourself because of so much was going on. Did this have an impact on you at all, on your health?
yeah, so I've lost my gallbladder. I've just been told there's something wrong with my liver. I've got fatty liver or something.
Okay.
So I do definitely now need to start looking after myself and having some self-care. I've got to go to the doctors this week, next week, to find out the results of a scan. And yeah, just the stress levels was just ridiculous. The stress, insomnia. I suffer with insomnia, and was having to open up the laptop when the kids gone to sleep to carry on working on the business. So yeah, it's just spent hours and hours and hours. But
You're back in UK now, so you've set up a new business. I
yeah.
take it.
So the Mum to Mum group went from those 5,000 members. When I looked at that again, I actually came into NatWest Accelerator with relocating to.
Yeah.
Because I thought I could do this in Milton Keynes,
Oh, yeah,
relocating to Milton
yeah.
Keynes, and I could still do the Spanish projects, but.
Exactly the same thing, but the reverse.
Yeah.
Back into fantastic idea.
But came into here, and then everyone was saying to me, "You're Sam from Mum to Mum. Oh, I'm in that group. It's amazing. Oh yeah, you've helped me employ 4 members of staff. I advertise with you and everything else."
God, and you're
yeah.
like, you've no idea about this, have you? You're like, wait, did I?
Yeah. So obviously I've got 100 businesses given to charity, and then it was like, right, actually this is the business. This is what people are giving me money for.
Yeah.
So I came out of here
Yeah.
and concentrated on Mum to Mum. So basically did the business directory.
Yeah.
Got that brand new website, got that all working, and started charging a different rate. So they paid £10 a month to advertise with me, which again is nothing. And to have access to all those people and a listing like Yale.com or Check a Trade on my website. And then
that's Mum to Mum directory.
Yeah, so that's the directory, and then
still going.
Still going.
So anybody who's listening to this, a mum?
Yeah.
Do they have to be a mum, or what's the criteria?
No,
to
and
advertise?
you just have to be a really, really good business with 5-star reviews. So we do everything from plumber to party planners to
So there's no limit to who you are.
No.
And if somebody else has got like 2 or 3 businesses approach you with the same theme, you're still happy to put them in?
Yeah.
Okay,
Definitely. I thought, right, I'm going to set up my own networking events. So I started doing them with social media tips and everything else, and loads of people loved it. Yeah, because it always is really different.
And this is 2017 now.
So go 2018, when I first got back, my sister-in-law said, "Oh, a chiropractor's opening up in Milton Keynes. I work in Aylesbury, but they don't know anyone in Milton Keynes. They're opening up their clinic, and they basically need a full PR experience."
Wow.
So I went to work for them, did all their social media, helped them open the shop, got the mayor there and everything. A clinic, not a shop. And worked for them for 6-7 months, and then it got to the new year. I was also working for Ascendant Recruitment, doing their social media.
Okay.
And it got to the January of 2018, I realised I need to focus on my own business. Created a magazine.
Yes, Mum to Mum magazine.
Yeah, Mum to Mum magazine. That was at the end of 2018. So I've got the business directory, I've got the networking, I've got the magazine. I'm also doing social media training and management, and I've got I had at the time 3 great clients, which basically paid me my monthly wage whilst I grew the business.
Do you have a team working with
So
you?
I have a
Still
couple of
solo?
ladies who work with me, but they're all freelance,
Yeah.
so they just literally invoice me for their hours. So I've got 4 ladies who do that.
So your team's growing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and I love it because they're all mums in business,
Yeah.
most of them, and they're all growing their own little small business. And I just help them. They work with me, and then I get them more clients. So they've got thriving businesses.
Wow.
And it's still helped me out when they can help me out as well. So it's worked really, really, really well. And
One thing's so apparent that at no stage you've shown fear.
No.
You've just gone for it.
I think I
You've just
have at night time, and internal. I've had extreme fear, but there was no other chance. I had to do it. There was no other way. You know, I
So
had to put.
there was no choice. You had
No.
to put yourself in all of these situations, but then they all are paying off, aren't
Yeah.
they? Literally.
I didn't have parents to give me a handout and help me out.
No,
There's
not at all. Nothing.
I've never ever applied for tax credits. I had to apply for tax credits and things like that to try and get a little bit of support and help. But that was just completely. I didn't do it for I think about 18 months because I was like petrified. Then somebody said to me, Sam, you're only earning £1,000 a month.
Yeah.
You need to get some help.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
paying for
But
childcare.
you didn't have that background, so you're just like, no,
No.
I've done everything myself, so why am I going to ask? It's almost weird, isn't it, asking for
Yeah.
help? Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it was that pride thing as well.
Yeah,
you
totally.
know. But yeah, I think there has been this fear. But at the end of the day, I really do, and that's why you know the program I'm on now and the people I help now is you know whatever business I've done, there's always been profit. You know, and if it
Yeah.
doesn't have profit, then I don't even give it
Yeah.
that chance. I've had to now really do it, you know, completely well. So it's, you know, I've always been like, giving things away and stuff like that as well. It's like
But now
you
you
can't,
can,
you know,
yeah.
you've got to have a business now,
Yeah,
Sam. You know,
'cause you're
this.
giving away too much.
Yes, yeah.
What's the one thing that you'll say to a woman that's listening to this who might be thinking, I want to do this, but now they've heard you? What would you say? What's your one line they'll say to a woman
Yeah.
there?
You just have to go for it. You know, you really do, and just take one day at a time. If you are not happy, and
Whether that's in your marriage,
whether that's in your
Or your
marriage or your work or you know with yourself, your own mental health and things like that, reach out,
get help.
get
Don't
help.
stay in that position.
Don't
no.
stay in that position, and don't stay there just because of a wage
Sake
packet.
or sake of your kids,
Or-
or sake
yeah.
of, they don't work out, do they? I
No.
totally agree with when you said about staying together as a couple because of the sake of your kids isn't right,
No.
because you're portraying negativity constantly to your kids because you're trying to pretend to be someone else, aren't you?
And their ideal of a relationship later on is one where two parents don't see each other, they don't cuddle each other, they don't kiss each
Yeah,
other.
so
they
what are
don't,
you role modelling?
Yeah.
Exactly, what kind of role model is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, they're having a go at each other. Mum's begging dad to come downstairs from the office to bath them and to put them to bed. No.
Is it more peaceful now in your house?
Yes.
This one person makes a decision and you carry on like that. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing this story. I'm shocked at how much you've done. I'm inspired. I'm blown away. This lady sat in front of me has just got no fear. Just do it. Just do it. You're the Nike advert, you are.
Yeah.
Really. Just
I
do
know.
it.
But what can go wrong? And if it goes wrong,
Then pick
or
yourself
if
back
someone,
up.
like I was speaking to a girl last night and she wants to do social media management, and I said, if you put your CVs out to all
Yeah.
these jobs at the moment where they're trying to employ social media managers and haven't
Yeah.
managed to hire one yet, just say you're a freelancer. It's going to be a lot more affordable for them to
Yeah.
hire you than to
Yeah,
employ
exactly.
someone. And she was just like, I said, what can they say?
What's going to
No.
go wrong? Exactly. People are not taking action.
But what if that one business says yes?
Just
like the
they did
holiday
to you.
reps.
Exactly.
You know.
But you're not giving yourself a chance if you don't pick up their phone, if you don't look at the opportunity that's coming to you, or you're not looking out for the opportunities yourself.
Yeah.
Then you're just going to stay in one place.
That's it, and that's why I speak at the job show.
Stagnant.
I'm speaking at the job show again in March.
Is that in the centre?
In the
Yeah,
centre of
yeah.
UK again, yeah. I'm there on the Friday and I'm there on the Saturday, and I basically kind of tell my story
Fantastic,
and
do you?
just help to empower other women.
You've lost 60 grand and you're sitting right in front of me and you're like, you've not talked about it once apart from one line. You're like, I've lost it, but I'm going to make more.
Yeah.
And you're en route to doing that. You know,
Yeah.
you're not looking back and crying about it. It's all part of your experience.
Yeah. Well, Wing It Woman ended up turning over around 50,000 in year 2.
Fantastic. Well done. How can they find you?
So I'm on social media. I'm all over social
She
media. So yeah, my new business I've just rebranded. So it's Mum's Rate, the business directory, because we've found out that mums will only use a business if it's been rated by another
mum.
member.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's dad friendly.
Yeah.
All this, politically correct now. But it's Mum's Rate, and then we've also got a loyalty card as well where you can save lots and lots of money. That's called Mum's Rates.
Okay. Fantastic.
There too, and then I'm SJ Paul Network and Mum to Mum Mag.
And you're on LinkedIn? You're on Facebook?
LinkedIn,
You're
yeah,
on
Samantha
Instagram?
Paul, yeah.
TikTok?
everywhere.
By any chance?
I'm not on TikTok yet.
Why
I'm not in. I'm not on TikTok. I quite like it. I
I've
saw
been
a
dipping
really
my
good
toes in
one
there.
this morning.
Did
My
you?
8-year-old loves it, so I might have to
know.
do some with
all the dances.
Yeah, I might have to do some
What
with
is
him
that?
or something.
Yeah, I
and
think
just do some
that's
funny
your
ones.
entry into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time
No,
today.
thank
Really
you for inviting me
appreciate it.
and pushing me
And
out.
Yeah, I can't wait to get this out on Sunday for people to watch and be inspired. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
you.